what's up, Granger? Welcome to the Rowe-Thrush Solution Selling Show. Today we have a great episode featuring Triarch Manufacturing. We'll have John Devlin come on here in a moment, but real quick, who is Rowe-Thrush? We are a manufacturer rep agency that represents just over 70 manufacturers into Granger. We're a little different from most manufacturer rep agencies because we specialize in working with Granger. With that said, I'll bring on John now to the show. Hey, John, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Doing well, James. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do at Triarch, how long you've been there, just a little bit about your history.
Yeah, sure. I've been with Triarch for about just nearing 3 years now. I'm the EAS Custom Sales Manager. We're based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where our manufacturing centered at. While I'm based out of Pittsburgh, I do travel across all North America, covering, helping support projects and collect project scope whenever a good opportunity is qualified and identified.
One more question about you. It's a bit of a personal question, but we always like to ask a fun question of everybody that joins our show. And that question is, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you like to go?
Costa Rica, for sure.
Costa Rica, have you ever been before?
I have not. It's a dream of mine to be on the back of a sport fisher with a 1,000-pound marlin tail walking behind the boat and my hands on the line and wrestling that bad boy in. So that's a dream right there.
Ah, very good. That's an awesome dream right there to have. And Costa Rica, beautiful weather right there by the equator and everything. That's excellent. And fishing too. I got a quick fishing story, and it is a true story too. I have a picture somewhere, but I was fishing on a fishing boat in Lake Michigan with an old boss that I had when I was a mechanic. We were trolling Lake Michigan with probably 6 lines or so in the water, and I caught the biggest fish I've ever caught, and it was, I think, a 36-pound coho. And I gotta say, when we saw the rod bend down, because it snagged him, my boss said, "That one's yours, go grab it." And I grabbed it and I started reeling it in. Oh man, my forearms were burning at the end. And at one point I was like, I don't know if I could get this sucker in, because it was just such a huge workout. And go figure, that day, that was the biggest fish that was caught. My boss was a very competitive person as well. So he was not happy that my first time going out with him fishing, I caught the biggest fish.
Nice. Nicely done. You got to set that precedence, man.
Yeah, and I do have a picture of me holding it up when we docked and everything, but I haven't seen that picture in probably like 10 years or so. So I know it's floating around somewhere in my house.
Cool. That's really cool.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Triarch Manufacturing? Give us a little bit about the history, what it is that they manufacture, and current day status with them.
Triarch is owned by Ballymore. Ballymore is our umbrella company, and we're owned by private equity, and they have been folding new organizations under that umbrella for the last year. And they looked at the market segment, and there were so many rolling ladder manufacturers in the market around 2021, and realized that by bringing Triarch in under the Ballymore fold, that they could have 70% or more of that market share and really set a dominance in the field for rolling ladders and safety, coupled with Ballymore's ergonomics and safety solutions. It was just a great fit. I've been on for about just coming up on 3 years now. And I worked as a distributor for about 10 years in the Southeast myself. And so was really excited whenever I saw the opportunity to come work directly with Triarch. And it's been fantastic ever since.
With Triarch, what types of products do they do? Is it only rolling ladders, or do they get into other types of products as well?
Right. Thanks for asking. So we engineer, manufacture OSHA compliant stairs, platforms, ladders, crossovers, and rolling ladders. And so anytime you've got a situation where a rep can identify where somebody's not doing something safely and they're working above grade, above 3 feet, and they need to be able to give them an ergonomic and safe solution for supporting whatever that operation is, we have a lengthy line card of SKUs that we can help them get a solution out into the field quickly with short lead times.
While Triarch manufactures rolling ladders and whatnot, today we're going to focus on their custom solutions. So anything that is not part of their standard line. So those are the types of products that we'll be talking about and solutions today, because that is what John specializes in. So, with that said, John, what types of customers would be interested in these custom solutions that you guys provide?
We've ran an exercise in the last year and identified the type of solutions that is really a sweet spot for our production capabilities and where we can help customers develop a solution in the field. And so I would say that any of your defense customers, military contracts, and manufacturing customers are where these products are really going to resonate with their team, especially from an EH&S safety perspective or a program or plant manager perspective. It's going to grab their attention and say, oh, yeah, we've got this problem over here. Can you come over here, take a look at it. Let's see what we can figure out for it. And our team is great at being able to look at photos and pull some measurements and tape and understand what the problem is, and then go to work with our engineering team to develop a solution, get a concept out, get that approved, and then get something quoted pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, over the last year or so, it seems like Grainger's really ramped up reaching out to myself, at least, or Rowe-Thrush, about these types of applications, because I'm reaching out to you, it seems like a couple times a month, every month, just about. So I think Grainger's got a new focus on working at elevated heights.
That's great. And they've all been fantastic to work with. Really easy folks to work with, and letting us do our thing and kind of work the scope and let it work through the process, and our understanding of knowing how to work with sourcing, because it is custom applications, and then being able to facilitate getting the project done through sourcing has worked well. I know that's not easy for everyone, and so I think sometimes that's a concern for reps, that they don't want to go into a custom application because of having to go that pathway, and our team, they manage that very well.
Yeah, you guys do a fantastic job. When it comes to customer business issues or CBIs, what are some of the solutions that you guys can bring to Grainger customers?
So I was thinking about that, and I think the easiest way to answer that is maybe by an example where we worked with BAE Systems in Anniston, Alabama, and York, PA with Grainger. We did about $400,000 worth of project work with BAE in Q1 of this last year alone. They brought us out on site. They had some of our stands already existing in the facility, but their process changed, and so they had to lift the vehicle up and turn the wheels for testing, and they bent the support legs on the stands. And so we came out on site, evaluated how, what the nature of what was being done, and then come back to the drawing board, work with our engineers on how can we design this differently to support the scope of what their new operations are. I think it's coming out and understanding what the customer's pain point and problem was, and investing the time and the resources in coming out and doing the site visit, seeing it firsthand, and then being able to communicate that challenge to engineering to develop a solution. You're going to have typically a safety manager and an EH&S manager in a facility, and they probably have a lengthy list of things that they see on their walkthroughs on the daily of what operators are doing unsafely. And so that's probably a really easy question to ask them. What are your concerns right now? What are your challenges? And how can I help? And they'll probably blow your ears back with a response on that. I've seen it, unfortunately, too many times where you're out on site and you could just standing there, you can watch people climbing up on something that they're not supposed to do and likely cause an injury. And so kind of having your head on a swivel and just your eyes wide open while you're on site is going to be a good way of being able to identify those challenges. Once the challenge is identified, we have a really awesome tool that I like to use on my iPad. It's a link on our website for our configurator. You've identified a situation where somebody's doing something in an unsafe manner. You can open the iPad up, start building a stair and a platform and a crossover solution or whatever, an access solution in real time right in front of the customer. They'll have
Yeah.
a model in front of them. There's a button on there where they can click on it to get a drawing, and it will tell them what that system takes in space. And then on the right side of the page, there's a complete parts list that they can have a concept model, a drawing, and provide a quote
Yeah.
within minutes and take an order while they're walking back to their car. That's a really strong tool. And I think
Yeah.
used the right way, any rep would be able to see a huge bump in their revenues just in doing that.
While keeping their customers safe too, of course.
It's frustrating to see, man. I mean, everybody needs to go home safe at the end of the day. And I mean,
Yes.
people are just wired in a sense that in order to get a job done, and if it saves them 2 minutes of time, rather than doing something that would take 15 minutes to do the right way, if they can knock it out in 2 minutes by stepping up on this piece of equipment and turning a wrench on it and being
Yeah.
done, they'll do it. And it drives safety professionals insane.
I'm sure it does.
We're well positioned
No.
to solve those problems. I think is one of the points about that is that people do unsafe things, and we've seen enough of it that we have solutions to help work through that.
Now, speaking of, we already kind of started talking along this line. When you're at the customer facility, putting on your Granger hat, you walk in. What should you be looking for at that facility? Who should you be talking to? And what types of questions should you ask that person?
You know, we have such a vast line card for solutions. I think that having the forefront of your mind is that we have a solution for just about anything you're going to run into. We have electric pallet jacks, we have lift solutions, we have lift tables through different divisions of Ballymore. We have a DOC services, which is a service arm of the company that can help provide maintenance and repair for a facility. So I think it's pretty broad. I don't know that there's any narrow view of that, of targeting one opportunity. It's when you're in there knowing that we can solve a vast majority of challenges the customer's having. So ball transfer tables, conveyor tables, ladders, platforms, and then I think we touched who those resonate with, and that's going to be your safety management team, program managers, plant managers. Purchasing are great people to know. Sometimes I guess things land on their desk where somebody just says, I need this type of ladder, and they don't specify who the manufacturer is. They know Ballymore and they know Triarch, and so it cuts down. You can solve a problem for them without having to go hit Google and search 12 pages of hits. They're going to know Ballymore and Triarch and come straight to that SKU on the Granger website. So
now let's get into some of the resources that you guys provide. Earlier, you mentioned the configurator tool. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the configurator tool, and we're going to do a live demo of how you can build a crossover platform or a work platform, whatever it is that your customer may need. So when you're on the Ballymore website, if you go to custom products, you'll see EAS, which we'll get into in a moment here. But first, we're going to start off with the configurator tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And John, why don't you just kind of instruct me on what to do at this point?
Sure. So what you're looking at here, we have 3 different applications that are designed that are quasi-modular in their production. There's a rooftop application that has rubberized rooftop feet to be non-penetrating on a rubber roof. The middle configurator is our carbon steel application. That is powder-coated yellow, carbon steel, or gray. It's modular, but not quite as modular as the multi-platform access system. The crossover ladder does have 1,000-pound load capacity, and it has the guardrails are welded onto the platform. Then you move over to the multi-platform access system. That is an aluminum, unpainted, mill finish aluminum system. It has the most modularity to it, and the beauty of that system is that when something's ordered, if something changes in the scope of what the work cell is doing, they can just simply unbolt a piece, order the new pieces that they need, and bolt it up to it, kind of like a Lego kit. So it's designed to grow with a customer's advancement and changes in process with the customer.
Excellent. So let's just do a basic crossover ladder. I went ahead and clicked on that, and as you can see here, you have the different heights that you may want to check.
You have the heights for what the top of the platform surface is, but it also tells you what the clearance is underneath the platform. So there's a 2-inch difference between those. Are kind of critical points to key into to make sure that there's no interference point between what's underneath it and what it's going over. You have your choice of either grip strut or perforated tread. The grip strut is a much more aggressive tread for footing. The perforated tread is just a little less aggressive, and it probably reduces the amount of particles that may fall down through from someone's foot as they climb the stair. You have your choice of inclines, a 50-degree incline, a 75-degree. It's not a ship's ladder, but that's what people call it a lot of times because of the degree of approach, and then a 90-degree vertical ladder. Now you've got your stair selected, and so this system will bolt to the next piece, and so then you have your bridge choices, the 30-inch and a 20-inch bridge section, and then so you can click on one of those, and so that'll take you 30 inches. The cool thing about this system is that you can span up to 90 inches without having a support leg dropped underneath it. So if you've got a conveyance that's kind of wide, you can go up to 90 inches there. And if you click another piece, you can see it's automatically going to drop that support leg in for you. If you make a mistake on that, you can just click the button to say remove the last part, and it'll pull that last piece out for you. Now, it'll do that on this one. The MPAS system does have a little bit of attitude, and there's a glitch in the code, and it's going to take a little bit more than what you want out, so you may have to go back and rebuild it.
So I just played around with it a little bit, gave it a couple of turns actually, gave it a left turn and then a right turn with a 90-degree step ladder going down. That way it could be forward-facing descent for that ladder.
So I was just going to point out while you're on that screen, in the upper left where the orange button is, it says top-down view. You can click on that, and a drawing is going to pop up on your screen, and it's going to show you exactly the footprint of what that system takes in space, so you can pull your tape measure out with your project manager and evaluate how this is going to sit on the production floor. And then on the right-hand side, you've got a parts list, and these are all in the Grainger website. Everything you need to quote the customer is right there in front of you.
It doesn't get much simpler than that.
It's an awesome tool. You can screenshot that and save that parts list, and that way the rep can enter that into the Grainger website and generate their quote. They don't really need to come to us for a quote for that because Grainger has their own pricing on this.
Yeah, and if you need any help with that too, you could just copy those part numbers down, email it to myself. I'll look it up, or somebody at Rowe-Thrush will look it up. We'll give you the Grainger SKUs for that application. That way your customer can order it through regular ordering processes.
And one thing about that, depending on the size and the number of pieces, most of the time that's about a 5 to 10 business day lead time. The whole idea is that you, right in front of the customer, you can have a concept model, you can have a drawing, you can have a quote, and you've got a really fast lead time. So those are very strong selling points to be competitive in the market. And against other modular platform manufacturers that are out there, we're about 40 to 60% more competitive in price.
Excellent to hear, especially the lead time. I can't help but feel like everybody these days, they want everything now. Thanks to Amazon, Netflix, it just everything's on demand. So everybody wants it very quickly. So that's great to hear. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover about the configurator tool before we move on to EAS?
It is a segue into EAS. So this is a standard line product, and the reason that we have such good lead times on this product is that all of these parts are built in a fixture. And so the materials get laid down on the fixture, and the welder will go down and he'll weld those components together and then pull it out of the fixture and then drop the new piece right in. So it's made for high speed throughput and fast productivity. Where our EAS team comes into play is that anytime and inevitably there are projects and customers that standard line isn't going to work for what they want to do. And that's where our team will come in, and we can work with the rep and the end user in understanding what the scope of the problem is and why standard doesn't work for them. If it, inevitably they want to go higher, they want to go wider, it needs to be mobile. And that's where our team starts talking to the end user about how we're going to design it, what's going to work for them, and get the project quoted, put it through sourcing, and we can very successfully navigate the sourcing agents through to close. As I mentioned earlier, one of our kind of sweet spots has been with the defense and aerospace customers. On the website, there's a few, there's quite a few examples of applications that we've built. And I also shared with you, James, a slide of more recent projects that we've designed for those defense customers. That would probably be something kind of eye-catching to any of the national account managers to help them understand where we're at and what we can do. I put this together as an illustration to share on LinkedIn and other marketing pieces that our team has been putting out. And it's really tough to be able to collect a sheet like this because these defense customers are so secretive of their proprietary designs and no photography on site. I get to climb all over these machines and see the application and how cool of a project it is, but it's really hard to communicate that to the field reps and to the end users about what we have done without being able to have a photograph. And so what I did was I took some pictures of the AMP-V, which is a combat vehicle that BAE Systems makes, and then I took the stands that we built for it and just kind of married that into one slide together, and then just made collage of examples of other systems that we built. So you've got L3 Harris, Textron, other BAE stands, and Northrop Grumman. And while we were looking for this, it came to mind that it's not just the defense customers, but like Delta Airlines, Southwest, American Airlines, we work on projects through Grainger to support their needs as well. We have an active RFQ working for Delta Airlines in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken, for a pylon stand. It's got some good traction and about a 50% likelihood of close. So we can build anything. I think one of the points that's important to make is to really qualify the opportunity, understanding that is there a budget set for this? What are your expectations of what the budget is for a project like this? And what are your expectations for delivery? Because obviously it's got to be funded to allocate the resources towards developing a solution for something like this. But then what do they have reasonable expectations of what it actually takes to make something like this and get it shipped out to a customer? So being able to qualify those 2 points with going through an opportunity is important, because there's a lot of RFQs. And so whenever we get through this and we understand that, yes, they've got a budget of X number of dollars and that they are looking for a delivery sometime in Q3, that's a lot more serious of an opportunity and worthy of the resources. If it's, hey, just something kind of loosely being reviewed, we'll probably get a budgetary number out for that until it gets more developed.
Thank you for covering that. Now, you wanted to go over the safety overview. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's a service that you guys provide?
Yes. So we have two experts on our team that have OSHA and safety certifications. We have Zach Moya and Paul Gilkinson. These guys have both been in the corporate world and in the insurance world, and then kind of came into another life with Ballymore in working with customers on what their safety challenges are. And they're really skilled at getting out and helping support a project in identifying how something's being done incorrectly, identify how the customer is tracking recordables, and how we can help them save money by implementing a solution to reduce recordables. And so therefore, a lot of times what you find is that the price of the product doesn't matter as much because it's far less than one recordable. Paul and Zach are a great resource for any of the reps to, if you're running into the wall with something, or if you're seeing something that's concerning, don't hesitate to reach out to Paul and Zach. They'll be hyper responsive and trying to come up with a solution.
And I'll include a link up above to a previous interview that I did with Paul Gilkinson previously on our show, so that you can check that episode out as well.
One of the examples I can think of is, I hate to go back and harp BAE, but BAE had us out for a safety event, and Paul came down and joined me, and he brought his ergonomic evaluator. And we asked one of the workers to do something where they're bending over and lifting something up. And Paul can record that activity. And then it's about a 10-second clip. And the evaluator will show the stress points on the body. Then they'll take that information and come back to engineering. And then that's how the Lucy ball transfer table was designed for one of the corporate wholesalers. They were seeing recordables from people loading 350-pound grills. We evaluated it and then developed a lift table solution to help reduce those recordables, and they love it.
Yeah, the ergovaluator, I learned about it on that interview that I said I'll link here. Really cool tool that is available to you. He showed me an example where it'll show basically little red bars on
Yes.
the person's body if that is a stress point. Is it going to cause a neck injury, a shoulder injury, a back injury? It'll actually pinpoint where there's going to be a problem, and then it'll give you an idea of what you can do to help correct that and fix that, whether it be the ball transfer table or some other device that Ballymore has to offer. That's excellent. Do you have anything else that you want to cover before we wrap things up, John?
I think just to recap, connecting with safety professionals, keeping us in mind that we have a long list of items that can help solve problems for customers to reduce injuries. Anytime you can help them either improve the process or reduce injury is going to be a long-term return on investment for the customer. They won't balk at the cost of a product whenever they know that they're going to be saving money on process and insurance.
I couldn't agree with you more. When it comes to somebody's safety and employees, you want to keep them safe. Excellent points, excellent products, and solutions that Triarch as well as Ballymore can provide to your customers. With that said, thank you so much for joining us on our show here today, John. Really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and look forward to reaching out to you on a regular basis with additional opportunities that Grainger brings to us. With that, take care, and thank you for coming on.
All right, James, thank you. Appreciate you having me.